So I just wanted to talk about yesterday, right? I specifically want to talk to the people that didn't make it in the room. And so I was one of those people that did not make it in the room. And immediately when the doors closed on me, I immediately got sad. I wanted to leave. I started to cry because I was searching. What I realized, I was searching for my breakthrough in that room, right? But I didn't leave. I walked to Overflow over there to the Georgia World Congress Center. Got to the door, they closed the door on us. And I'm just like, man, God, I feel like my life, I keep making it to the door, but the door's always closed, like for different seasons of my life. So that started to make me cry some more. And I'm just like, man, every single chance I get. So then some people see that the side door is opening. So I go in the side door, I make it in, right? And so then I'm just questioning God, like, what am I doing? Like, I'm tired at this point. I was in the line from 11 to 3, well, to 4. And I'm tired. I'm like, God, why did you have me go through this and all that? And so then I sit down in the food court, and there's a man praying, and he has his daughter to pray. And her prayer was like, she says, we were meant to be in this food court right now. We weren't meant to be inside. So then that revelation hit me. I'm like, Pastor said he wanted for it to be a portal in the State Farm Arena. God just downloaded me. He wants it to be multiple portals. So we weren't supposed to get in. We weren't supposed to be in that room. And then I also believe God told me that it was a testament to our faith. The people that didn't get in are the people who felt like that door always closes for them.
Okay, so I'm going to be talking about the 2819 Access event. From what I saw, I went, but I did not get in either. This female that I just showed was a woman that was obviously there, and she was disappointed that she didn't get to go into the arena. And as you see in the thumbnail, the good, the bad, the ugly. And stick it out. I got some points I'm going to make. The good definitely outweighed the bad. And obviously the good outweighed the ugly, but it was a much bigger, I guess, crowd than what anybody probably anticipated. I have nothing bad to say about Philip Anthony Mitchell and his crew underestimating the size of the crowd, because if you've been, paying attention to this event, if you're, in the faith community, if you are a Christian, and you have followed this church, or you just have been looking at viral clips of him and what his movement, what his church is doing, you knew that there was a major event in downtown Atlanta at the State Farm Arena. And me being an Atlanta native, I know the area very, very well. Been going down there to watch the Falcons and the Hawks football and basketball games since I was a little boy. Like, my dad is a big sports fan, and I played sports growing up. I come from a very a sports loving family, cousins, uncles, all of us played football, baseball, basketball, you name it. My mother was a cheerleader, so I'm very familiar with the area. Now I'm going to get into the things that I saw and things that were going on before I got there, and I'm going to start with the ugly. Like I said, there were some things that could have been done better. If you were there for the right reason, which is to pray and to seek the Lord, then you made lemons out of lemonade. So I'll go over what I saw. I do have some video clips that I shot myself from my phone, and I'm going to play a few clips of other people's video clips that they shot with their phones as well. So we'll start off with the ugly, and as you can imagine, it's going to be the Hebrew Israelites. I wasn't there when they got there. I actually came in from out of town. I was down in South Georgia visiting my brother, who's incarcerated on Saturday. So I stayed in Columbus, which is about an hour from where he's locked up. And I just slept in Columbus for the night, and it's like an hour and a half drive from Atlanta to Columbus. So I didn't even get back to Atlanta till like around 2. And then I went to the gym, and then I got in the shower. And then by the time I got there, it was after 4 o'clock. And they said on a loudspeaker, probably about 30 minutes after I got there, the arena's at capacity. Nobody else can get in. But without further ado, let's start with the Hebrew Israelites. So for those of y'all that can't make out what they're saying, they're chanting, I, I am the son of a God. These guys, man, for those of y'all that are not familiar with the Hebrew Israelites, it's basically a cult of mostly middle-aged black men, and they wear purple and gold shirts, and they claim to be the chosen people of God. They believe that black people are the chosen people of God. We're the real Jews. And they stand on street corners and have loudspeakers and microphones, and they try to basically twist the scriptures around to conform to a certain narrative that, like I said, blacks are God's chosen people. We're the real Jews, and we're going to rule over white people. We're going to the white race is going to go into slavery. I've seen video clips of them having white people bow down and kiss their feet, like just all kind of crazy stuff, man. And of course, the people that were attending the access event, this had to be earlier because I got there, like I said, after 4 o'clock. The doors opened at 3, but the event started at 5. Due to the size of the crowd that actually showed up, some people are saying it was like 40,000, may have been 40,000. You probably had to get there at about 11 or 12 o'clock just to secure your, entrance into the facility. It was just that many people, and the arena only holds 21,000. So people were screaming Jesus, and they were marching. But yeah, the Hebrew Israelites, man, they goofy to me. I don't care for them, never have. And let's get back into it. So they were screaming, "I left that church," and yeah, dude. Like I said, I didn't see this part in person, but I have ran into some Hebrew Israelites in real life here in Atlanta. I never really engaged with them, but I've seen them on street corners, doing their little preaching, their little sermons or whatever. Like I said, I don't take them seriously. I think they goofballs. But that's the ugly of the event, that they actually showed up. They didn't accomplish nothing because people didn't leave. People weren't intimidated. People just basically recorded them make a fool of themselves. Okay, now for the bad. The bad part of the event was obviously you had a lot of people who could not get into the arena, and there was no real contingency plan for the thousands upon thousands of people. And I do believe that they would have made better plans for the thousands of people that couldn't get in if they knew it was going to be that many thousands of people. Like I said, estimates are saying 40,000. If that number is accurate, and I do believe it was about 40,000 people there, because remember, the arena holds 21,000, and there were probably equally that number of people. I've never seen that many people, lining up to go in the State Farm Arena, because State Farm Arena is a basketball arena. They hold 20,000. The average basketball arena in America holds between 18 and 20,000, 21,000, whether it's the New York Knicks at Madison Square Garden, whether it's the Golden State Warriors out there in California, whether it's the Bulls up there in Chicago. Any basketball arena is around 18 to 21,000. That's about what they hold. And of course, the Atlanta Falcons, they play at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium across the street. That arena holds 73, 74,000. Now, they could have rented out that arena, but it's like $1 million per event. So obviously that was a much bigger price tag. And I don't know how many people he was anticipating would be there. But if all 40,000 of us, those of us that couldn't get in and those that got in, it would have filled up Mercedes-Benz Stadium over half full, which is still a lot. I don't think no church in America holds 40,000 people during one service. I know down there in Texas, Joel Osteen's church called Lakewood, which is I ain't gonna get into Joel Osteen, but he's a false prophet. But his church, I think, holds between 15 and 20,000, somewhere around that number. I have to go look it up. But irrespective of that, the bad part, like I said, it was the fact that you had so many people that couldn't get in, and there was no plan to provide them a similar experience. Because when you go to 2819 Church, they got an overflow room, but there's a projector screen so you can actually watch the service in real time. There's speakers in there. And even though it's not the same experience as being in the main sanctuary, you still get to actually see the service and hear the service. This time at Access, he specifically said that this will not be live streamed. We're not going to do a recording. All the video footage you see from the Access event was actually people recording from their cell phones. So they had, like I said, a overflow at the Georgia World Congress Center across the street, if you're familiar with the area, and there were thousands of people in there. And I felt bad for some of the people because I heard some people say they came from Texas. One girl told me she drove from Columbia, South Carolina. I don't know how many people came in from out of the country, but Philip Anthony Mitchell said there were going to be people from other countries there, and there probably were. I did see a lot of people that were clearly Asian or Hispanic, whatever, and a lot of them probably do live here locally. I would say the majority of the people that came live here locally in the metro Atlanta area or somewhere within the state of Georgia, but there were probably thousands of people that came from out of state because Philip Anthony Mitchell and the 2819 Church movement, it literally reaches, I would say, millions of people per month watch his content on social media, on YouTube. So it wasn't just Georgia people. So I feel bad for the people that came that far and couldn't get into the arena. But we're going to transition into the good in 1 second, because I want to just say that the majority of the people that came down there that didn't get in didn't leave right away. And that'll be a segue into what was good, which outweighs the bad and the ugly. Like I said, it was overall a good experience, even if you couldn't get into the arena. All right, now for the good. The size of the crowd that actually showed up, the fact that it was so over capacity that you literally had enough people to fill up the arena again. If Phillips, I'm sorry, I call it Phillips Arena because I'm from Atlanta. That's what it was called when it was first built. State Farm Arena. If there were two State Farm arenas side by side, there were enough people that would fill them both up. It was that many people. So the fact that many people showed up in the first place was beautiful. And just like the demographic of the church, if you actually been to 2819, and I've been there many times since I started going, since May. Mother's Day is the first time I went, and I average about twice a month. I don't go every Sunday, but I go at least twice a month. It's mostly black people that attend the church. As he said, it's not a black church, but at Access yesterday downtown, there were a lot of white people, a lot of Asian people, a lot of Hispanic. It was people of all backgrounds, and it's just like the 2819 service. It's a lot of young people. 2819 is a young people's church. It's not a whole lot of old people that go there. Not a lot of elders like some of your, old school missionary Baptist churches in the local communities where we grew up. I would say the average age at 2819 is between 25 and 35. People in their 40s, and then of course 50s and 60s. There's not a lot of people in their 50s and 60s. It's just not. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing. I think it is a good thing that you have young people that want to seek the Lord, because we need the Lord here in Atlanta. We need the Lord all over our nation, because our nation America has just went into a whole nother direction when it comes to our morality. America has gone mad, and we have turned away from God, and it has had detrimental impacts on our society. Local, state, federal, all the way through. Our government is corrupt. All this LGBT and killing all these babies, and it's a lot going on, and we need a move of God. And I do believe that us younger people, those of us under the age of 50, are going to be the key to fixing our country, if it's going to be fixed. But I'm going to play these few clips of people singing, and there was a couple of people doing street preaching, and people were forming crowds. Just like I said, it was like a bunch of little crowds where a few hundred people or maybe 1,000 people at a time will form a circle and they'll sing, and people were praying, people were on their knees, people were crying, and it was like a real miniature revival, man. It was actually a good experience. I stayed for about 2 hours, and I didn't leave till almost 7 o'clock. It started to thin out around close to 7 o'clock, but a lot of people just wanted to be there. And if the church knew that it was going to be that big of a crowd, they probably could have had a couple of people from the church, lead, a praise and worship service inside of the Georgia World Congress Center, or I don't know. But there will be lessons learned from this. I'm pretty sure Philip Anthony Mitchell is going to address the people that weren't able to get in, and he's going to talk about it either before this Sunday coming up or at Sunday service. And I'm definitely going to be there, and we'll see what he has to say about it. But these few clips are clips of people in the arena and people outside the arena. And I'm going to wrap the video up by just playing these clips. If you like the content, y'all share, y'all subscribe. Peace. And this is the final clip. This is a guy who is doing some street preaching. As you can see, like I said, different sections of the arena, people were just outside forming circles and, like I said, praying, and people were giving their testimonies about what the Lord has done for them, etc., etc. So next time he does it, I'm pretty sure things will be different. They may end up having a bigger facility, which will be a good thing. And some people even said they should start charging people so that way it don't be as overcrowded. But I'm kind of torn on that, man. I mean, it's not by the grace of God, he didn't have to charge people. So the fact that it was free, I'm pretty sure that made even more people come. And yeah, I don't even think charging people is the solution. I just think a bigger facility is the solution. And if he had enough money to rent out the State Farm Arena, he had enough money to rent out perhaps the Georgia World Congress Center across the street, which is probably going to be a little bit more. But if you're doing the will of the Father, he gonna make a way. He's being obedient to God, and God is opening up all the doors that need to be opened. So it was overall worth the trip down there, even if you didn't get in, if you were there for the right reasons. So I'm out. Appreciate you watching.